Alright, so in this video we're going to react to Christian McCaffrey doing an off-season workout. My understanding is that this is kind of like way in the off-season, so we're going to see if it's good or bad, and then, yeah, just my reaction. Playing another sport. So, right off the bat, I like that this is good because they're playing another sport. And for younger athletes, it's good to play multiple sports because of all the theories of burnout, right? I think it's like 4 or 5 theories of burnout, but you shouldn't specialize in one sport at such a young age. And then even as you do get a little older and you are developed and you do eventually specialize in one sport, it's still good to do multiple things like in your off season besides whatever your sport is. You see like Myles Garrett playing basketball. A lot of football players play basketball. As you can see, Christian McCaffrey, he's here playing pickleball before he workout. That's pretty good. And then you have a bunch of other people, like they do like track and stuff like that too.
My name is Brian Kula with Kula Sports Performance here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. We work with youth through professional athletes here in a speed-based performance program. Today we're in an off-season mode with Christian McCaffrey from the San Francisco 49ers, kind of working to get him back into shape and starting to touch on the CNS to get him ready for OTAs.
You got a third score, right?
A little before OTAs.
And in the process, be a good person, give back, use your athletic ability and all the different things that you do on the football field to have a greater impact on the world.
How many seconds?
This you can just go right away. Got the.
Alright, so first exercise looks like a hip thrust. Not bad. Hip thrusts are good for your glutes. However, in terms of hypertrophy wise, you're not going to get like the most stretch as you can with the hip thrust. But because he is, if I remember this correctly, he's going right into OTAs shortly after this, so he's probably like way past that main hypertrophy phase in his workouts.
The barbell hip thrust here. This is an exercise that's going to develop the posterior chain. So we're going to get down in here, sit down, roll the bar up to the hip bones, establish our foot placement, which should be just a little bit out in front of our knees. Back's elevated. Going to press up, explosive, hold at the top, squeeze the glutes, be controlled, slow on the way down.
Alright, so I like that, controlled and on the way down. A lot of people don't realize the importance of eccentrics, not only in athletes, but everyone who lifts weights. If you know me, you know that I focus on different part of the lift throughout a program, and the eccentric part is important. It looks like here he didn't give him a specific time period of how long he should hold that eccentric, or not hold it, but you know, how long he should do the eccentric portion. So I kind of feel like it's just what it feels like maybe as a good eccentric, but for me it's okay if you don't have it like that dialed in, but I would like to count a certain amount of seconds on the eccentric phase, and then the next week that count changes.
So what we have here is the front squat. We like this as a heavy bilateral exercise. Today we're going to do it with some heel elevation. It's just an option we like to use to get a little extra depth. So we're using a straight bar. We're going to come in here with a nice flat platform on the bones of our feet, the heel bones here. Okay, I'm going to step in, front rack this with a nice proud chest, head up. We're going to go down nice and slow, eccentric movement for depth, knees over toe.
Good thing, eccentrics again. I like this guy already. Also, the knees over toes, yes, very important, underrated. That a lot of people still today think that your knees shouldn't go over toes, but it should. So I use like a slant board as well when I do my squats mostly. It typically builds up your quads a little bit more when you are positioned in that way. And the reason why you want to do that is it's just going to help you strengthen that area, obviously. And if you strengthen the area around like your ligaments and stuff in your knee, reduces your chance of getting injured. So that's why a lot of people squat this way. Front squats are great too. A back squat would have been fine as well. It's all good, whatever one you choose.
Goes all the way to the bottom and then back up.
One thing I would like to know is what his sets and reps are for these though.
Push up, make sure you're pushing through that big toe. Don't get too far on the outside of your foot. Good.
I also like the cues from the coach. It's super simple. I do like to be simple when I'm coaching my athletes, but in the end, I do want to explain it a little bit more scientifically for them to actually get it. But in the moment like that, just keep it real simple.
Knee has to go, when I go back,
Yep.
it can't be over my ankle.
Okay.
It has to be like,
Stepping back.
that has to be negative.
One thing I like about this video, it's not too much editing, where you're actually being able to see the athlete like really ask questions and really fill out the exercise first before they start doing it to make sure that, you know, he's ready to go. I like that aspect of these videos.
Balance and stability component, as well as a strengthening in the unilateral on the single leg side.
So again, a lot of athletes do stuff like this, which I'm not mad at all, especially at this time period in the program. I will say a lot of athletes also try to do too much all at one time. You know what I'm saying? There's a strengthening component of this, there's a balancing component of this, and all this other stuff. It's like it's okay to just do one thing at a time and really focus on developing that, whatever you're trying to work on, and keep it super simple. It doesn't have to be extremely difficult in the weight room. Also, the other thing I would change for this is his arm. I know it's going like kind of straight up. At this point in time, before hitting the OTAs, I would keep it regular as if he is running. When you run, your arm's not going to be up like that, right? So that's the only thing I would change about this as well.
This is the Copenhagen ISO hold. We're going to come down here and have a bolster that's about 14, 18 inches off the ground. I'm going to come in. I'm going to make sure my hips are in alignment with my shoulder and my foot. I'm going to come up to parallel, keeping the hips forward. Go to ISO hold with the adductor. Hold there for about 10 to 15 seconds. Then we slow control on the way down.
Not a bad exercise for the groin. There's a lot of things you can do for your groin, and a lot of people actually skip out and strengthening the groin. I think isometrics are good for that, and something super simple and not too extravagant to ensure that there's a less chance of injury is great, especially for a running back like Christian McCaffrey.
So we're going to next do a feet elevated alternating dumbbell bench. So the feet are going to go onto the wall 90 degrees. We're going to start with the dumbbells vertical. We're going to alternate one dumbbell at a time, trying to stabilize, let the sacrum rotate.
So here's one of those other examples where I think people do too much, right? One, in terms of alternating dumbbells, yes, there is a stabilization thing for that, but there's a lot more better things you can do to work on stabilization if you want to do that. If you want to work on actually developing your chest or some force production on the bench, you can just do that by itself. You don't have to do it all at the same time. And then also, I think he just supersetted this with the little groin thing. So that's fine too, but you don't have to do all that.
Oh boy.
But one thing I do like going into OTAs, if you are going to do any type of bench press, you should be doing dumbbells and you should be doing it that neutral grip. It is more conducive of what you do on the field. Super early off season, like your season just ended, a week later you're back in the weight room. Yeah, sure, do a regular bench press. But as you're getting close to actually playing football, switch that to the dumbbells, neutral grip. So it's a lot more conducive of what you're doing on the field, because getting off a block, trying to block somebody, elbows are tight, so it makes a little bit more sense. All right, so we're going right into another exercise. So that's like a triple set. a bunch of exercises back to back. Again, it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. You know, it depends on what you're trying to do. Yes, there's a conditioning element in strength and conditioning, but you don't have to do that with the weight room. Like, you have a lot of other things to do for that. And then obviously, most importantly, when you actually start playing a football, that's probably going to be most of your conditioning right there anyway.
This is the bent over trap bar eccentric row. We're going to set up here, good base of support, feet under your shoulders. We're going to hinge to a position where I have a nice flat back, neutral head. The hands take the bar. We're going to come up explosive, down slow, eccentric movement, touch. We're trying to make sure that the back stays flat and we're not round.
And so this is a really good exercise, and obviously you can do this with a barbell, you can use dumbbells, but I do like using the trap bar for this. However, with the triple set, you are a little bit more fatigued, so you're not getting as much out of it as you were if you were just doing this exercise by itself. How many ever reps and sets, you can add a little bit more weight and you get a little bit more stimulus out of it.
Rounding the back, and it's truly a back exercise. Is a combination exercise of a curtsy squat and a Cossack squat. So we're going to combine the two single leg movements together. We're going to take a dumbbell into a goblet hold. Okay, we're going to step behind, curtsy squat, deep as far as we can go. Step back up, gather into a Cossack squat.
So for me, like a curtsy squat, that's probably like the most fancy I'll get with any type of exercise. The reason why is because it does do some type of angle that you may see actually on the football field. And a lot of people, you know, they'll use like Bosu balls and all these other things, single leg, to get these wild angles to work on something. But you gotta understand, like in the weight room, in the gym or whatever, it's supposed to be a controlled environment, and this is as controlled as it's gonna get. You don't want to do anything ridiculous or too ridiculous that you might actually end up injuring yourself in the first place, and also not actually work the muscles and tendons and all that in those certain exercises, right? It's to a point where you can do it, and every now and then or whatever, but this, I would say, is the most fancy you should get that actually has results. Well, that's pretty much it. I fast forwarded a little bit, and it's just some stretching that he's doing at the end. But overall, it's not too bad, or it's not bad at all. I shouldn't say it's too bad. I expected Christian McCaffrey to have excellent form, which he did. I expected some of the principles that he was doing was really good. So his coach was great as well. There's some things that I just wouldn't do, but it's not necessarily wrong. And there's also some things that at the time that he's doing it might switch up like one or two things. But other than that, it was pretty solid. I'd give it like a solid 9.5 out of 10. If you like some more React videos, man, just let me know so I can do some more, find some more things to react to, strength and conditioning wise. And yeah, thank you.